All right, let's jump right in. When you think of Berlin, what's the first thing that comes to mind? For most of us, it's gotta be the Brandenburg Gate. But here's the thing. It's so much more than just a big, beautiful archway. This thing is a living witness, carved from stone and bronze, that's seen it all. Imperial parades, Nazi rallies, the eerie silence of the Cold War, and the pure joy of reunification. Its meaning has been twisted and transformed over and over again. So in this explainer, we're going to unpack that incredible story.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll take a trip back in time to look at its wild history. Then, we'll get up close and decode its amazing architecture. After that, we'll see what it's like today, right in the heart of modern Berlin. And to wrap it all up, I'll give you some handy tips in case you ever get to visit. Sound good? Let's go. First things first, we've got to understand where this thing even came from. Believe it or not, it wasn't originally built to be a symbol of Germany. But, as we'll see, history had other plans.
Okay, so this is key. Its original name was the Peace Gate. King Frederick William II just wanted a really impressive front door for his capital city, Berlin. Back then, the city had a customs wall around it to collect taxes, and this was meant to be the grandest entrance of them all. The whole idea was to symbolize peace flowing into the city. And this is where the story gets really wild. I mean, think about it. It's called the Peace Gate, but that idea was put to the test almost immediately. Just 15 years after it was finished, Napoleon rolls into town, defeats the Prussians, and just takes the giant chariot statue right off the top as a souvenir. Fast forward to 1961, and boom, the Berlin Wall goes up, and the gate is just stuck. It's trapped in this terrifying no man's land. It's not until the wall comes crashing down in 1989 that it finally gets to be that symbol of unity again.
And the gate was the silent witness to some of the most dramatic moments of the Cold War. Standing right there in front of it, U.S. President Ronald Reagan made this iconic demand. This really cemented the gate's image around the world as the ultimate symbol of a divided planet. Just try to imagine that. For almost 3 decades, the most famous landmark in Berlin was sitting alone in what was called the Death Strip, that heavily guarded, terrifying zone between the two sides of the wall. Nobody from the east or the west could get anywhere near it. It was just this lonely monument to a nation torn in half. So with that history in mind, let's take a closer look at the actual structure itself. Okay, so we've covered the history, which is intense. Now let's zoom in on the gate itself, because every part of its design is packed with meaning. Right, so the architect, a guy named Karl Gotthard Langhans, was channeling ancient Greece. He based the design directly on the Propylaea, which was the massive gateway to the Acropolis in Athens. And that was totally on purpose. The idea was to style Berlin as the Athens on the Spree River, linking Prussian power with the glory of classical antiquity. The sheer scale of it is just incredible. It's about 85 feet tall, held up by these 12 massive Doric columns. But look at those 5 passageways. You see that big one in the middle? Well, up until 1918, that was off limits to you and me. That was for the royals only.
Yeah.
Only the king and his special guests could use the main entrance. Everyone else, you had to use the side lanes. It was like a daily reminder of who was in charge, built right into the architecture. Okay, now let's look up at that famous sculpture sitting right on top. It's called the Quadriga, which is just a fancy name for a chariot pulled by 4 horses. But the person driving that chariot, well, her story is just as dramatic as the gates. So originally, that was Irene, the Greek goddess of peace, holding a simple olive wreath. But remember when Napoleon stole it? Well, when the Prussians got it back in 1814, they decided to make a few updates. They renamed her Victoria, the goddess of victory, and they swapped that peaceful olive wreath with one that held Prussian military medal, the Iron Cross, and a big eagle. Just like that, the Gate of Peace had officially become a monument to military victory. So after all that conflict and division, the Brandenburg Gate has been completely reborn. Let's check out the role it plays today in the vibrant, reunited city of Berlin. So what's it actually like to stand there now? After being a stage for royalty, military parades, and then decades of deathly silence, what's the vibe? Well, today, it's a place for everyone. And I mean everyone. The New Year's Eve party here is absolutely legendary. We're talking about 1 million people or even more flooding the area for fireworks and concerts. It's one of the biggest street parties on the planet. What an incredible turnaround, right? From a lonely monument to a global stage for celebration. And it's not just for New Year's. The gate is the epic finish line for the Berlin Marathon. During the Festival of Lights, it's turned into a massive canvas for breathtaking light shows. And when Germany wins the World Cup, you better believe this is where the party is. It is, without a doubt, the city's main stage.
All right, you're probably feeling inspired to see this thing for yourself, so let's get practical. Here's what you need to know to have an awesome visit. First and most important thing, it's totally open and totally free. No tickets, no closing times. You can walk right up to it and even through it any time of day or night. The whole square in front of it is a pedestrian-only zone, so it's a fantastic place to just wander around and soak it all in. So what's the best time to go? Well, it depends on what you're looking for. If you want those perfect, postcard-worthy photos without a million people in them, get there early in the morning. If you want to feel the buzz and the energy of the city, daytime is your best bet. But honestly, my personal favorite is at night. When the whole thing is lit up, it's just so dramatic and beautiful.
And another great thing is that you're literally in the middle of everything. From the gate, you can just take a few steps and you're at the Reichstag, Germany's parliament building. Or you can take a moment to reflect at the incredibly powerful Holocaust Memorial. Feel like a walk? The huge Tiergarten Park is right there, and so is the famous Unter and Linden Boulevard. It's the perfect starting point.
So that brings us full circle, doesn't it? This one structure started its life as a symbol of peace. Then it was twisted into a monument of military victory. Then it became this heartbreaking symbol of a world torn in two. And finally, it was reborn as a beacon of unity. It's the story of Berlin, of Germany, of all of Europe really, captured in one place. Today, it stands as a powerful reminder that walls can come down, and that things that are broken can in fact be put back together again.